Hello, and it's Ariel from Ariel Sims, and welcome to the final video of my One Direction speed build series. This is a series of homes that are inspired by members of One Direction. These homes are not the homes that they actually live in. I don't really know what their actual homes look like, but they're just homes that are inspired by things that I think each member would like. So this home is Liam's home, and Liam for me is a little bit tough to do because he is probably my least favorite member of One Direction. My favorite member used to be Zayn before he left the band, and now I kind of can't stand Zayn now. I don't like the way that he left and tried to blame it on musical differences when, to me, it was very clear that Zayn got caught cheating on his fiancée at the time, and he didn't really want to deal with the repercussions of it, and I don't think that Zayn was necessarily happy in One Direction, but I think that if you want to leave a band over musical differences, I think that's fine. But I don't think the time to do it is in the middle of a world tour, right as you get caught cheating on your fiancé. I think it's a convenient way for Zayn to explain why he left without having to deal with any of the repercussions of his actions. And I just think that's wrong. I think everybody has their personal opinions on Zayn and why he left and how he's acted since he's left the band. But for me, I thought that Zayn was someone who it turned out he really isn't, and I don't like the person that Zayn has been since leaving the band. So Zayn for me is a very touchy subject. It's hard to make myself stop caring about him, so now I just get really upset whenever he does anything, which is not great. But Liam, like I said, he was my least favorite member of One Direction. Liam, I don't know what it is. I think he puts his foot in his mouth a lot, and he says things and doesn't understand how people take the things that he says. I don't think that Liam is a bad person. I think he's a little bit immature, and I guess that's pretty true for, Liam, Louis, and Zayn. All three of them are kind of immature, but Liam he's the type of guy who, if you had an annoying little brother, like, that's what I think of Liam as. He's like the annoying little brother who always pisses you off. He's lovable sometimes for me, but he drives me crazy. I don't know. So it was a little bit hard for me, I think, to build a home for Liam, just because I just am not a huge Liam fan. But I did end up building this home, and originally, I built about this is the third version of homes that I was building for Liam, because I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I kind of just built something, like, kind of just out of nowhere. Like, I just started building and was gonna see where it took me, and the first thing that I built for Liam ended up looking a lot like a castle. And it looked really cool, but it was just way too big. And it didn't fit in things that I wanted to fit into Liam's home. So I scrapped that, and I eventually came up with this home, which I think once it's finished, it kind of looks like a European townhome a bit. And I think that's pretty fitting for Liam. I think Liam, he would live in a relatively populous area, possibly like London, and I think this is kind of typical of like a townhome for wealthy people that you would find in London or in a European city. I think one of the interesting things about this home for me is that I thought it looked pretty ugly until I really finished kind of the decorative touches on the outside. I think that front portion, that octagonal room, it's a little bit too big, so I don't think it looks great on its own, but once I added in trim and wallpaper and windows and landscaping, I think it actually turned out to look pretty cool. So I think it's kind of fun to watch this build to see how the house to see how the house takes shape after I had built everything. Like, the building alone of this house is not what makes it look like this house. It's all of like the finishing work, I think, that just kind of like makes it what it is. The one thing that I really wanted to include in this home for Liam was a pretty big home gym. Liam is a pretty athletic guy. He's always working out, and before he was in One Direction, Liam was actually a runner, and he was like a reserve member of like a potential Olympic athletics team for England, I believe it is. So yeah, he's very into sports and fitness, and so I wanted to include a gym for him, and really, like, that was the only major feature I wanted. I think I also wanted to include a hot tub on a balcony off of his room, but that didn't really have so much to do with Liam as a person as it did with, I just wanted to include a hot tub on a balcony. So yeah, but when I was building this home, because I was just kind of winging it as I was building it, I did build like a floor plan first, just so I had an idea of where everything went, and that's kind of how the house took shape, which I think played a little bit of a part in how the outside just doesn't look perfect, because when you're building based on layout versus on how the outside looks, the outside doesn't always look so great. But like I said, with this build, once everything is kind of put in place and finished outside, I think it does turn out to look pretty cool. So it was fun while I was building this to just watch the house transform. I also built this on the park lot in Willow Creek, mostly because I haven't built a home there yet, and I thought it would be interesting to do that. The problem is there's a giant tree in front of the park lot, and unless you build from a certain angle, you can't see the house. Like, I'm sure you could get a mod that like makes the trees fade, but I don't like putting mods in my game, so I don't have that. And yeah, it got a little bit frustrating at times when I was building this because the tree would get in the way and I couldn't see what I was doing, so I'd have to like move the camera around a lot, and I couldn't zoom in as much as I wanted a couple times, so that was a little bit frustrating. But yeah, it's that green tree that you see kind of on the right of your screen. That tree was like the bane of my existence. It was so frustrating. But yeah, I also did something a little unusual with this home just for me in terms of style, which is I went with a black trim, and I always use browns on homes. I always use browns and stones, and on this home I used black and stone, and I think that's kind of what contributed to making it look more like a European townhome. I think like the colors used in Europe, especially in like England and Scotland and like France even, is that there's more like black, gray, and white than like browns. So yeah, I mean, I think that looked pretty cool, and I liked the way it turned out. But yeah, I kind of did something weird with the porch where it had like that curve, and then like the entry is like, the entrance to the house isn't at the front, it's like in a side, and then the like porch curves around, and so that was a bit of a different look, and that was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't sure about it when I was doing it, because all I could think was, well, if he has a driveway, this just doesn't make sense. but there are no driveways in this game, and there are no cars. So, I mean, I think it fits, and I think it works. I had a decent amount of trouble figuring out what I wanted to do for wall coverings, but like I said, I stuck to some tones that I tend to use a lot on the outdoors, which is that stone wall that I used in front, and then kind of like the beige plaster look. I don't know, but I mean, I think it turned out, it was just definitely one of those things where while it was a work in progress, I wasn't really sure about. But once I was finished with it, I liked the way it turned out, and I liked the way it looked. So yeah, as of recording this voiceover, I haven't furnished the home yet, but I think I'm gonna go for a very modern style for furnishing, because as much as this home has a traditional exterior, I don't think that Liam personally would decorate his home based on how, like, the home was built and what it looks like on the outside. I don't think of Liam as, like, the most intelligent person in terms of, like, he's just not really very bookish. He's not, like, someone who you would think did very well in school. I think he's decently intelligent when it comes to singing and the music industry, but I think other than that, he just is a little bit of, like, he kind of reminds me of, like, a Labrador Retriever, where he's, like, very happy and he wants to please everyone all the time, but he's not, like, the smartest person in the world. And for some reason, to me, that means that he would, like, furnish his home in a way that doesn't really fit, like, the character of the home. Plus, like, I just for some reason believe that Liam would like a modern style and a very clean style. So I think if that's what I'm going to go with when I furnish the home. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, we'll see how it turns out, and it'll be funny if, like, it doesn't turn out like that, and then in this video I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna, like, furnish it, like, very modern, and then I don't do that. Like, that would make me look kind of stupid and funny. But yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully I'll get that done in the coming days. But yeah, I was just adding some landscaping out to the front, and it was pretty similar to how I built this house, where I didn't know what I wanted, I didn't know how I wanted it to look. I just kept adding things until I felt like it looked nice. And I think it's a really, like, fun look for home. I like my landscaping to be a little bit overgrown, and I like it to kind of overlap things. So you can see the landscaping here, like, the branches kind of overlap the fountain and, like, the walk a little bit, and I mean, I think it turned out pretty cool. I just feel like in this game, I can landscape way better than I used to be able to do in The Sims 3. So I think that's definitely one of the things in The Sims 4 that I feel has really improved, is just the way, like, the landscaping is designed and the overall look of it, and the ease with which you can kind of landscape a home. So yeah, I did use this trick that I learned from Hattie Sims to create ivy on the outside of the home. I don't have the Sims 4 Get Together yet because I am waiting for it to go on sale, so I don't have the ivy that you can put on the walls that comes with that game. But yeah, I made my own by using this technique that Hattie Sims uses a lot. So yeah, and I think it just kind of added a little bit of character to the home. It doesn't look perfect, and I think it's something that if I practice more, it would look a little bit better. But I think it's a good, like, first go at doing ivy. Then I had, like, massive problems with the chimneys. I really wanted to put the chimneys in a certain place, like, on the roof, and they just wouldn't go there. And I'm not sure if that's because of the height of the home. This home is only... Well, I guess this home does use 4 stories, and then the roof is really tall, so maybe that's why. Like, maybe it reached the height maximum, but I don't know. I just had a ton of problems with the chimneys, so it required a lot of like fidgeting around with them and playing around to try and get them to look right. But yeah, I ended up kind of figuring it out in the end. They didn't go 100% where I wanted them to, but that's okay. For the backyard, I didn't want to make it take up the whole lot, but I did like kind of want a little bit of an infinity pool, and I wanted to put in a gazebo. So I had to make it big enough to fit those features in. But the actual free space in the backyard, there's not really a ton of it, which Liam, I think Liam is a person that likes to be outdoors, and so he probably would like a bigger backyard than this. So I guess I'm not doing a very good job of building like a Liam specific home, but as I said, he's just like not my favorite member of One Direction, so like it's just hard to like build things for him and with him in mind because of like my own personal likes and dislikes. I don't know. There were times when I was building this, and like definitely times where I was building like the other homes that I tried out for Liam, and I thought they would fit perfectly for Louis. And I remember back when I built Louis's home in March, I was like struggling to find like a British design because I was like, yeah, Louis is like the type of person who's always gonna live in England. He likes being British. He's never gonna move. Well, shows how much I know, because Louis then went and got this woman from LA pregnant, and they ended up having a baby about a week ago now, and it's a big like kind of to-do in the One Direction fandom because there's a lot of people who thought the baby was fake, because they believe that Louis is in a relationship with Harry Styles, which like both of them have denied multiple times, and like I think the fans really need to let go sometimes and like let the members of One Direction live their lives, because they've said some pretty terrible things about this innocent little baby who like never asked to be brought into this world. And I mean, for me, like I was a little bit upset when I first found out about the baby, just because I just don't think One Direction's coming back from this hiatus, and especially for Louis. I think Louis was abandoned by his dad when he was a few days old, and so I think having a father figure for him, like he never really had one that stayed, and I think he wants to make sure when he has a kid that he's there for his kid in the way that his father never was. And so I can't imagine Louis turning his back on this child. I don't think Louis is really thrilled that the mother of the child decided to keep the baby, because the baby was a product of what seems like a one-night stand, and she claims she doesn't like publicity, and it's just like, okay, well then you got knocked up by a celebrity, so that's gonna be a part of your life. Like, you need to kind of accept that. And if you don't want to do that, then like you need to think about really whether it's the best idea to keep this baby. But I mean, she made a choice to keep it, and whatever her reasons were, she did. And you know, Louis seems thrilled ever since the baby was born. He did not seem excited at all when she was pregnant. But now that the baby is here, and I think, you know, it's more real to him, he seems to be like this adoring father, and it's really like cute to see. And I mean, I'm just like a person who loves babies, so I just like, I'm very happy for him that he has a chance to be an amazing father to a beautiful little boy. But yeah, I basically ended up on this whole tangent because, as I was saying, I had said like Louis would always stay in England. Unfortunately, the mother of his child lives in LA. So Louis has temporarily moved to LA to take care of his kid, and he currently is not, I mean, he still has like a house in the UK and stuff, but obviously, I mean, the baby is way too small to travel. So he's in the US for now. We'll see how this whole arrangement works out as the kid gets older and he's able to travel more, and what have you. But yeah, I thought Louis would really just want to settle in England, and that's just not the way his life worked out. So yeah, But anyway, this isn't Louie's house, this is Liam's. So I've pretty much talked about Louie for half of this, but yeah, I just, like, there's just not a lot about Liam that's very appealing to me. So it's just kind of, like, hard for me to, like, talk about his house. But yeah, I was just kind of putting, like, the finishing touches on the back garden. I put in a little fire pit, because I just think fire pits are fun, and One Direction, like, there was this scene in their movie where they were all sitting around a fire pit, and it was just like it was a really cool scene. I just really enjoyed that, and I wish that One Direction had spent some more time together as just the 5 of them. I think it would have done wonders for their longevity as a band. As I said, I don't think they're coming back from this hiatus, but they, in the final 2 years, just kind of had an entourage everywhere they went, and it seemed like they didn't spend as much time just the 5 of them, and that was kind of what attracted me to One Direction in the first place, was the relationship they had just as 5 boys who came together without knowing each other and grew to be what appeared to me as best friends, but I guess that wasn't the case, and I guess I read it wrong. And that's a little bit hard for me to come to terms with, but that's just life. Things happen that we don't want to happen, and we have to deal with it. So yeah, this is the balcony that, as I said, I was building because I wanted to put a hot tub on a balcony, and that's what I ended up doing. But we should be moving into the screenshots shortly. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've stuck around to the end, I should have the final video of the home out soon. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to build, since I'll have to start a new series soon. And I hope you have a great day.